Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, am I truly living my life or just the one expected of me? If that question made you pause, you're exactly where you need to be. In this video, we're diving deep into one of Carl Jung's most powerful lessons, the life-changing decision to choose yourself. In a world that demands you to conform, Jung teaches us that real freedom begins when we listen to the quiet voice within, because every time you ignore your inner truth just to meet someone else's expectations, you're not choosing peace, you're choosing to disappear from your own life. But what if I told you that your true life, the one that feels meaningful, aligned, and fulfilling, is waiting just on the other side of a single choice, the choice to finally choose yourself? So before we begin, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because every week we explore the wisdom of Carl Jung and the timeless psychology of the soul. Let's begin. When was the last time you looked into the mirror and truly asked yourself, am I living the life I genuinely want? Not the life others expect from you. Not the one that looks right in society's eyes, but the one that deeply resonates with your soul. Carl Jung, one of the most profound minds in modern psychology, left us with a message that few dare to follow: choose yourself. Even when the world around you tries to push you in the opposite direction, we live in a world carefully built to distract us, to trap us in routines and expectations and in an endless stream of obligations that seem impossible to escape. From the moment you wake up, you're flooded with demands: work, family, social responsibilities, norms that define how you should act, what you should chase, and even what success should look like. But here's a truth many avoid. Every time you put others ahead of yourself, you send a quiet message to your inner being that it doesn't matter, that your needs, your desires, your truth are secondary. You ignore that quiet voice deep within your subconscious, the one that's always trying to guide you toward something more real, more fulfilling. Jung believed this connection with the unconscious is not optional. It's essential. It's a fundamental part of who we are. Yet so many of us silence it. We push it aside because facing it can feel uncomfortable. That unease you feel when something just isn't right in your life, that's not random. That's your soul speaking, trying to show you that something needs to change, even if the thought terrifies you. So pause for a moment. Reflect. How many of your recent decisions came from true authenticity? And how many were made out of fear? Fear of disappointing someone, fear of breaking the mold, fear of discomfort or uncertainty. Jung challenges us to ask these hard questions because he knew the truth. Decisions that are not rooted in your inner self lead only to disconnection. The further you drift from your true self, the more lost you'll feel. But let's be clear, choosing yourself doesn't mean rejecting others. This isn't about selfishness or isolation. It's about understanding that to give the best version of yourself to the world, you must first find peace within. This is the core of self-love, a concept Jung explored deeply. And self-love is not luxury. It's not an excuse to run away from responsibility. It's the foundation of all meaningful relationships. When you prioritize your inner truth, something powerful happens. Your energy shifts. You begin to attract people and experiences that match your essence. It's as if the universe clears away what no longer belongs and offers you exactly what you need to grow. But to reach that place, you must first meet your shadow. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the hidden side of our psyche. It holds everything we prefer not to see, the parts we suppress, deny, or fear. And yet, it is only by facing this shadow that true transformation begins. Because when you stop fighting with your darkness, when you start to accept it, you unlock an inner strength you never imagined was there. This process isn't quick. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes courage, it takes patience, and a deep, ongoing commitment to understanding yourself. But what you gain in return is priceless. You gain clarity, the ability to see beyond the illusions you once believed in. You gain purpose, a renewed sense of direction and meaning in your life. You gain peace, a calm so profound that even external chaos can't disturb it. You gain the power to say no, no to what doesn't serve you, no to what drains your spirit. And you do it without guilt, without fear, without seeking permission. Most importantly, you gain the freedom to be who you truly are. You might ask, how do I begin this journey? And the answer is simpler than you think. Start by listening. Every time you feel discomfort, confusion, or a surge of emotion, pause. Ask yourself, what is my unconscious trying to tell me? Jung once said, the answers you seek outside are already within. You just need the courage to listen and the resolve to act. But that's not easy, because intuition often points us in a direction that feels dangerous, that shakes everything we've built. Maybe it's a relationship that no longer serves you. Maybe it's a job that drains you, or a dream you're chasing just because it seems like the right thing to do. Jung reminds us ignoring these signals isn't strength, it's self-abandonment. Choosing yourself means having the courage to let go of what no longer resonates. And yes, it's scary. We cling to the familiar, even when it's painful, because change feels like loss. But what if the real loss is this? Sacrificing your inner peace just to hold on to something that no longer brings you meaning. The choice is yours. And maybe the most important question you can ask right now is, am I finally ready to choose myself? Because choosing yourself is not selfish. It is an act of deep love and profound respect for who you truly are. We've been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves first is wrong, that caring for our own needs is a betrayal to those we love. But Jung's message flips that entirely. When you choose yourself, something magical begins to unfold. It's as if a fog lifts. For the first time in a long time, you begin to see clearly. Those who truly value you stay. Those who only drained your energy, they begin to fade. And that's not a coincidence. It's the natural effect of internal transformation. Your inner world aligns, and your external reality begins to reflect it. Jung called this synchronicity, the mysterious connection between your thoughts, your emotions, and the events unfolding around you. When you live in truth, life begins to respond in kind. Choosing yourself isn't just about bold actions. Sometimes it's about radical honesty with yourself. It means looking back and asking hard questions. Have I made choices that didn't reflect who I truly am? Have I let others cross my boundaries because I feared losing them? Have I said yes when deep down I wanted to say no? Jung taught us this is not a reason for self-judgment. It's an invitation, a chance to pause, to learn, and to choose differently moving forward. Authenticity isn't a destination, It's a journey, a lifelong process of evolving, growing, and aligning more deeply with your truth. And on this path you will face resistance. There will be days when you doubt yourself. Old habits will try to pull you back. Comfort will whisper, stay where it's familiar. But remember, real growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Transformation begins where fear lives, right beyond the edge of what you know. Not everyone will understand your choice to prioritize yourself. Some may question you, some may walk away. That's okay. Because when you choose yourself, you stop looking for external validation. You begin to see your worth isn't measured by what others think. It's defined by what you believe about yourself. And no, this doesn't mean cutting yourself off from people. In fact, the opposite happens. Your relationships begin to change and evolve. You stop chasing approval. You start craving authenticity. You let go of shallow interactions and seek out connections that feed your soul. And here's the beautiful part. The right people will stay. Not because they need you, but because they value you as you are. As you live more authentically, the world around you shifts. Not by magic, but through a powerful interaction between your inner and outer worlds. Jung explained this beautifully. When your inner state is in conflict, you attract external conflict. When you reject yourself, you meet rejection in the world. But when you fully accept who you are, when you choose yourself, the people and opportunities around you begin to shift too. This kind of change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. There will be setbacks, moments when old patterns return. But that's the test. Your ability to stay committed to yourself, even when it's hard, even when it feels lonely. We live in a world that glorifies sacrifice, but at what cost? We've been taught that giving everything to others, even when it empties us, is noble. But how long can you pour from an empty cup? How much can you give before you disappear completely? Jung's answer is clear. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. Only when you are whole, only when you are aligned with your truth, can you give to others from a place of abundance, not depletion. So choose yourself. Not just in the big moments, but in the small ones too, every day, and watch how your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. As you begin to choose yourself, something deep within you begins to awaken. That quiet inner voice, your intuition, starts to grow stronger. What once felt like a faint whisper becomes a guiding force. You begin making decisions that not only make sense logically, but also feel right deep in your soul. This is the real power of choosing yourself. It reconnects you with that inner compass that has always been there, just waiting for you to trust it. Carl Jung believed that intuition is one of the purest connections we have to the unconscious mind. It's that moment when you just know without needing proof. But in order to hear it, you must quiet the noise of the outside world. You must let go of the constant need for approval, detach from society's expectations, and learn to trust you. Because at the end of the day, no one else can truly know what's best for your life. When you choose yourself, you send a message to the universe. I'm ready to live in alignment with my truth, and the universe listens. Suddenly, you start to notice things falling into place. Opportunities, relationships, events that seem too perfect to be coincidences. Jung called this synchronicity, the mysterious alignment of your inner world with your outer reality. It's not magic. It's not random. It's a reflection, a response. When you're in harmony with yourself, the world around you begins to harmonize too. Doors open effortlessly. The right people show up at the right time. Obstacles turn into stepping stones. You begin to flow with life rather than fighting against it. And in that flow, you find peace, a deep, unwavering peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because everything feels aligned. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer proving. You're simply being. And that is freedom. But this transformation also comes with challenge. Because once you make the choice to be true to yourself, the world as it knew you may resist. People may try to pull you back. Old patterns will reappear, doubts will creep in, and fear will try to hold you in place. This is the test. Every time you reaffirm your truth, every time you choose your inner peace over outer pressure, you grow stronger. Yes, it's natural to feel fear when leaving the familiar. But here's something to remember. Every time you choose to stay in a life that no longer brings you joy, you're closing the door on something extraordinary. Carl Jung taught us that resistance is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you are growing. It's the friction between who you were and who you are becoming. One of the most powerful ways to move through resistance is through reflection. Ask yourself, what do I truly value? What kind of life do I want to build? What kind of energy do I want to invite into my world? Because once you find clarity about your values and goals, every choice becomes easier. You begin to attract people and circumstances that match your new energy. Your inner world leads, and your outer world follows. And while this journey may feel lonely at times, remember this: you are not alone. Choosing yourself may start as a personal decision, but it creates a ripple effect. The more you live in alignment, the more you naturally attract those who are on a similar path. People who see you, who support you, who don't ask you to shrink, but encourage you to grow. Life stops feeling like a constant battle, and instead begins to feel like a homecoming. And that's when something inside you changes forever. The choices that once overwhelmed you now come with ease. You stop needing to prove anything. You stop hiding, because you finally realize you are enough exactly as you are. True peace, as Jung taught, doesn't come from fixing the outside. It comes from honoring what's within. When you live authentically, you don't just change your own life. You inspire others to do the same. You become a light. Not by preaching, not by convincing, but simply by existing as your true self. Jung believed that every individual who chooses authenticity helps shift the collective consciousness. Because when we live from truth, our relationships change, our communities change, even the world begins to change. And no, this path is not always linear. There will be days of strength and days of doubt. But those moments of uncertainty are not signs of failure. They are invitations to go deeper, to reconnect, to rise stronger. And maybe, just maybe, this video found you at the exact moment you needed it. That's not an accident. That's your inner world calling you back home. If this message touched something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and tell us what part of this message spoke to your heart the most. What is one step you will take today to choose yourself? Your words might be exactly what someone else needs right now. And if you haven't already, Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss content like this again. Let's build a community of people brave enough to live in truth, to walk in peace, and to become who they were always meant to be. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And most of all, thank you for choosing you. Because the world needs more people with the courage to be authentic.